All right, what is up, everyone? This is Sam, and today we're here with Kris Allen from. We're in the same draft league for the Pokemon Battle Kingdom, and we're in season 2 of the VGC draft league for them. So we're just gonna kind of go over some. We're halfway through the season, so we're just gonna kind of go over some of our predictions for the rest of the season and talk about kind of how the season's been going so far. So, Kris, you want to introduce yourself?
What's up, everyone? My name's Kris. Kris Allen VGC. I run the Gauntlet, do a lot of draft leagues, and yeah, man, I love doing this stuff. It's always fun jumping on with other content creators and having a good time.
Yeah, man. Glad to have you. All right, so I figured we could just start by maybe going over. You can go over your team a little bit, kind of what you were thinking, how you've been running it, what Mons have been doing well, surprising things, that kind of thing. Um, and I can do the same for mine.
All right, I'm down with it.
It's okay. All right.
All right, yeah, my team is the Gainesville Crocs. We had the second to last pick in the draft. Uh, so basically, my whole mindset was I'm taking combos all day. If I'm gonna wait 30 something picks between rounds, 2 to 4, I need to make it worth it. Uh, and I took almost straight down the list too. We took Spec and Clef in round 1. I grabbed Glisopod and Coop, I think, in my second set. Grabbed Brazong to add Trick Room with a Selgor. Uh, Frost, Wishy Washy, and then Emolga Meowstic just to kind of cap off at the end. And so far, I mean, it's been a really fun season. I'm still undefeated. You see, and I've actually got quite a bit of usage out of a lot of mons. Of course, Spec and Clef, common BGC combo right there. It's done pretty good. 11 kills, 4 deaths, not horrible. Clef picked up 2 kills, which was fun. The main thing with my team is a Selgor who, even though he doesn't have any kills this season, he comes in, he's been able to take speed control, get the chip damage for his partner to pick up the kill, or take focus off and kind of help control the game with Unburden. And that Coop and Galisopod, man, having that Trick Room element, I think really helped me a lot because Spec and Clef can be stopped very easily. It's very easy to wall it when you know it's coming. So by having that extra element to the team, it's allowed me a little bit of flexibility.
Yeah, man. I like your team a lot. Like, I mean, knowing you as a player and seeing how good your team is, like, I'm not surprised at all that you're undefeated right now. I think that just like, yeah, I mean, we've talked about it before, but just the fast mode, the slow mode, the redirection that you have is really solid. All right, so now we're gonna look at my team here. I'm running Dialga as my kind of my main carry here, in case you couldn't tell with the plus 16 differential. But I'm currently also undefeated. I'm 5-0 right now, so I've played my match for this week. Kris hasn't yet, so that's why he's 4-0. But yeah, so I was second pick of the draft, so I started with the mentality of I actually considered taking Spectre Clefairy, but the problem was I knew if I took one of them, chances were the other one was going to be gone by the time it came back to me. So I just started with support. I took Togetic round 1 because it's a tier 4 that is essentially just as bulky as Togekiss with Eviolite. Um, and I was planning on taking Dialga the whole time. And the nice thing about Togetic plus Dialga is Dialga's 2 weaknesses are fighting and ground. Togetic redirects ground moves away and is immune to them, and redirects fighting moves and 4 times resists them. So certain threats, like I have to fight Groudon later this season. And I don't think it's a surprise for anyone that Togetic is going to be coming there. Other than that, though, I mean, I'm really happy with how my team has been piloting. I think, honestly, Dialga has been carrying me less than I thought it would. Like, I thought I'd just be getting all my kills with Dialga, but you can see like 10 kills with Marowak too. Marowak and Serena are both my kind of like lead them because I don't like leading Dialga, especially in my last few matchups. So it's kind of like I'll lead Serena or Marowak plus, Persian for fake out or Togetic for redirection, and just kind of establish like maybe kill one or two of their mons because the damage output is really solid without maxing. So yeah, and then I dropped Starmie for Slowking, so I have a better Trick Room setter.
I like it. I mean, you hit a lot of things, and I think, especially from what I've seen with this league in this season, a lot of the players early on are so worried about the restricted mon or the legendary mon or, oh, it's scary, get rid of it, that it
Yeah,
allows those other mons on your team to have that flexibility of, oh, you're not hitting me for 3 turns. I'm fine with that. you
yeah, for
know?
sure. Yep. Yeah, for sure. And that's something like Marowak, I've brought it in 5 games, but I think like probably 9 out of those 10 kills were from just 2 weeks, like 2 matches. So that kind of goes to show like he's had good matchups, but Dialga has still been the most consistent. Even then, though, last week I only got, or this week, week 5 against Ryan and the Provincetown Primarinas, I think Dialga only got 2 kills. No, he got 1. So but I ended up maxing Serena. Um, so now I think we're going to look at the schedule page here, and we are going to. Oh, there we go. Going to look, and I think we're gonna. Should we do the awards now? Don't want to make
Yeah,
this too long.
I think the awards would be fun to do.
Yeah. Okay. So we did this with our post draft analysis, kind of, but I came up with some fun little awards to give out. So I'm going to give them for the Eastern Conference since I'm in the West, and he's going to give them for the Western Conference since he's in the East. So I'll let you start, Kris, with best upset.
Best upset has got. Oh wait, Western Conference. Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay, I almost jumped the gun on that. Um, I would say so far the best upset has to be SS's loss, just because if you're looking at total games and you're looking at where they rank right now, they have 1 loss. It did come a little bit earlier. It was the opening game. They took that L, but since then, 4 straight wins, man. That's impressive. They're right there at number 3. So to take that loss and bounce back, I think that was a really good upset, and it shows just how dangerous their team ended up being.
Yeah, that's Elijah and the Shady Shuckles. That's my brother, and he you know, I would like to say I taught him everything he knows, but I introduced him to it, and he's just like he's taken off as a player. Like he's really good player, and I agree that's definitely an upset. The only thing to me is that the guy he lost to is the other guy in the conference who's undefeated. So, but I agree that's a big upset. Now for Eastern Conference best upset, I actually the one I had in my head was Western for some reason. I was gonna say Togekiss of Death beating out Chakotay's short Shurikens, Scott beating Christopher. But for
That was a good
East,
one.
that was a good one, yeah. Um, hmm. It's hard because the East, everyone is so close to each other, in my opinion. Um, I'm gonna say I gotta find. Hold on, I want to make sure I get the opponent right. I would say it's the Dirty Dittos beating Provincetown Primarinas in week 1. Um, I mean, like just looking at records, um, they're only 1 apart. Provincetown Primarinas is 2-2. Uh, Dirty Dittos is 1-3. But I'm also using information from last season of Ryan, who's the Provincetown Primarinas, had 1 loss the entire season up until playoffs, and Bash, who's Dirty Dittos, didn't have as strong of a season. So kind of basing it off that, which maybe isn't 100% fair, but to me that was a big upset.
I agree. I think that one and the one for the Eastern that I almost named was Peter's loss in week 4.
Yeah, that and my only thing with that was like because he lost to Casper, and Casper's also such a top competitor in this league that to me it was like, it's surprising because Peter had an undefeated regular season last season, but at the same time it was like Casper was also an insane player, so it wasn't 100% surprising to me.
I get that. Yeah, I played Casper already, and so I mean, I guess that's true too, because you have to think about like one of his losses was to me, who was still undefeated, right? And then he's only 2-2.
Yeah, that goes to show how crazy the Eastern is right now. Like, there's been a lot of upsets in the Eastern Conference for sure. Um, okay, so next award is who's having the best season so far in the Western Conference.
Mm. Well, I guess I gotta say Diaga, man. That differential is incredible. Being able to get to 5-0, hit the halfway mark, undefeated, especially in the Western, the way it shakes out, like you're almost guaranteed to make the playoffs at the halfway point.
Yeah, yeah,
If you get 5-0 at the halfway, and you have people that are 0-4, 0-4, 1-3, 1-3, you're pretty much good unless you drop all 5. So, and
right,
even
yeah,
then, you're still going to have a low teed fight. So, I would say you with the Diaga, and then you have the kill differential at 22. So you got, I think, 8 on number 2 right now, if I remember. He was at
yeah, yeah,
14.
yeah. He's at 14.
Yeah, so I would have to go with you and Diaga over there.
Well, I'm gonna return the favor because I think you're having the best season in the East right now. I mean, to be fair, you've played one less match than Peter has so far, so he was 4-0 going into this week, but he's played his week 5 match and lost. No, he lost week 4.
Yeah, he won week 5.
Right. Yeah. So actually, never mind. It's definitely you. So yeah, I mean, again, when you hear best season, you kind of have to just look at the rankings, and I mean, you can see he's only. I mean, right now Peter's only above you because 4-1 is technically better than 4-0, but I mean, a plus 13 differential is nothing to scoff at, and that's only at 4-0. Like if you get another win this week, it could be even higher. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't think you can really say much. You're the only one in the conference in the East that's undefeated right now. So,
Knock on wood. Hopefully it continues this week, man.
yeah. Okay. So the next one might have to dig in a little bit more, but this is best performing Mon in each conference. So if you need to like see a team or whatever, let me know and I can pull up the team.
All right. Yeah, I got it on my phone too, just to look.
Okay. Cool.
I'll point you when I to what one I'm going to talk about, but
Okay.
let's just see here. HL. I kind of want to go to. It's sad because he's dropped, but I think for this one I'm going to go Kyogre.
Yeah.
Just for the performance that Kyogre had. 13 games played, 24 kills, 6 deaths, 18 differential is insane. I mean, it's to be expected. And when you look at the rest of the team there, Shiram, I was confused. Novier and Klefki. I understand Novier and Fast Tailwind. Got it. More Pico, Metric, Fast Thunders. Got it. Vileplume, Sun. Okay, we have 2 Suns. So it was just a very interesting team overall because he could plug in, which he ended up picking it up, Groudon, just as effectively as Kyogre. But I do think Kyogre had a wonderful season before it was dropped.
Well, also keep in mind he picked up Cherim and Vileplume as free agents.
Oh, I forgot he made all those drops together because it was
Yeah,
Decidueye and Claydol.
yeah. He dropped Groudon or Kyogre, Barbaracle, Claydol, Decidueye for Groudon, Sharon, Vileplume, and Morpeko. So he kind of I mean, I know he said he was switching weathers halfway through. My theory is he picked it because he has to play me in the second half of the season, but Dialga doesn't appreciate Groudon as much as he appreciates Kyogre.
Well, I think to be honest with you, the switch is smart, but
I
at the end of the
agree.
day, because y'all have a lot of steel restricteds in your side, it's resisting Kyogre like half the teams that he's going to play in the playoffs. So it was a smart
Yeah.
decision to try and drop it now, pick up your team, get some reps in, understand it. But I just think if you're talking a half a season performances, man,
Yeah.
that's a nice number.
I mean, those stats, I would look at Amon at the end of the season and think those are good stats. And it's halfway.
Yeah, like
It's
that's
crazy.
insane.
All right. So for the Eastern, it's a little harder for me because there's not as many, like, to me at least, like, there's not as many, like, 10 plus differentials. Because, like, there's restricteds here, but they're not there's not as many. Who are all the restricteds? And there's Pete has Zacian, Zach had Necrozma, and he dropped it for Palkia. Is that it? Oh no, Eric got Kyogre now.
Yeah, but we won't have the stats for it to use.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Just give it to Eric because Ben did so well with Kyogre. I mean, I just have to say Pete, his Zacian. I mean, it's a +9 differential, which, I mean, looking at like Dialga and Kyogre isn't as crazy, but the thing you have to keep in mind is Zacian's never maxing, so his ability to just like max and get KO and then leave max is not there. So, he also has to rely on other mons, which is just the way he built his team. And honestly, I think it's working really well for him, obviously. But just the ability, like, I've seen him run a million different coverage moves on it. I saw Wild Charge, Ice Fang, Sacred Sword. I mean, he's, obviously play rough, Behemoth Blade. So it's just so flexible. And he doesn't have to run max speed ever because it's the fastest thing in the draft. Like, he never has to run max speed, so he can always put Bulk in it too. So yeah, I mean, and again, 14 kills is crazy.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I don't even think many people have Mons with more than 10 kills. I know I only have like 11 and a 9.
Okay, so next award is going to be Best Underdog Mon. So to me, this means like maybe 2 or 3, but definitely like 2 or 4 or 5 Mon that's putting in a lot of work in terms of, it doesn't have to be differential. It could just be they're bringing it a lot and it's getting a lot of utility, but it could also be differential.
Okay. Let me scroll through them all here.
Oh yeah, I was also going to say about Ben swapping Groudon or into Groudon. I think that's going to play out interestingly because Wade picked up Yveltal, so it's going to be Groudon versus Yveltal. It's going to be an interesting one.
um, I mean, I guess for this one, I'm kind of tied. I'm gonna give half the award to. I'm giving half to Cradilly, over on with Wade, who we had mentioned.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, Cradilly's stats when you look at it, it was tier 4. It's played in 10 games, which shows me that he's definitely getting a lot of utility out of it. I'm sorry, it's played in 5 games. It's picked up 9 kills. It has had 7 deaths. The differential is not good, but 9 kills for Cradilly in only 5 games. I mean, it's averaging two kills a game. That's not bad
Yeah.
for a tier 4 usage, and I think it's definitely helping him out there in the back.
Yeah, I would agree. You said you were gonna give it partially. What was the other one?
Marowak.
Oh yeah, yeah. The +9 differential is kind of crazy. Okay. So I think I was just looking, and I was gonna say something, but I think I'm gonna change it to Casper's Garbodor. Um, 9 kills, 2 deaths, seven +7 differential, which is crazy for honestly, at the beginning of the season, I was like, what is Garbodor doing here? Like, I didn't, to me, it didn't make a whole lot of sense. But he's been leading Diglett and Garbodor and bulldozing it, so it gets -1 speed, but then +2, so it's at net +1. Gets the weak armor, and then it gets the weakness policy, and he's actually been putting in a lot of work with it. And I just, to me, it's super cool to see combos like that working, and that's what I love about draft. Is like that would never work anywhere else.
I agree. That's a really good one. I mean, I played it already and
Yeah.
pissed me off, man.
Did you when he led that? Did you see it coming or?
I knew what was about to happen, but I didn't have a lead to stop the Ditto at that point. I didn't know what the item on Ditto was. It was either going to be Scarf to guarantee he gets it off, or it was going to be Focus Sash. But I
Yeah.
didn't have any fake out users or anything,
Hmm.
so it's pretty much like I'm going to give you this combo, and I have to hope my attack kills.
Yeah, for sure. I actually just watched that game today of you versus Casper because I didn't watch it before. That was a really good game.
That was a great set, man. I
Yeah,
mean, it was like a 4-0, 4-0, then a 3-0, just high
yeah,
intensity.
yeah, for sure. And actually, one more thing I was just gonna say about Cradilly. Let me pull that up because I didn't pull it up. Um, so you can see it here. Also, Wade, I dig the Batman names here. It's pretty cool. Um, the thing with Cradilly too is like he's been running it a million different ways. He's been running a weakness policy under Trick Room with Drain Punch on Ryu Nicholas. He's been running it like super bulky with Stockpile and Leech Seed. So to me, that's another thing too. That's like it means a lot to me when a low tier mon can perform that well with a bunch of different sets. Like that's the thing about Marowak to me is I'm running one set. Like I can change the EVs and I can change the coverage moves, but ultimately I'm just clicking Bone Meringue.
Yeah. I mean, when you can max a lower tier mon out of tier 3 and tier 4 and make that mon your win con, it's a great feeling.
Yeah, he also had Barrascuda. He had Surf Barrascuda next to it too to proc Storm Drain. So yeah, he's been really creative with that. I've been team building with Wade a lot this season, almost every week except for the week we played. Me, Elijah, and Wade have like a group chat, and we bounce ideas off each other and stuff. So it's been super cool to see all of his like creative ideas for how to use Cradilly.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so last award here goes to best transaction. So this can be. I'm gonna pull up all of them here. This can be free agent or trade. I don't think there's been any trades yet. I think it's only been free agents.
Okay. Let's see here. Um, I'm ignoring Zach's opening two because they were done like
Yeah,
the day after the draft. So to me, it's not
and
really like
yeah,
draft.
and he drafted Glacier Porygon with the intention to drop them. So, you know,
Yeah. Casper, Tangela for Goth, Howie dropped Kingdra for Pelipper, uh, Flygon for Tangela. Okay, that's up there. Um, I think I'm gonna go. Wow, I didn't even know half these happened. I will say. Oh man, this is tough. Go ahead and
and
do
you don't
yours
have to limit
first.
it. You don't have to limit it to conference either. We can just say best overall.
All right.
Um, like part of me wants to say Benjamin, but the thing with his like Kyogre to Groudon is it was part of a bigger group of trades that made it better, and the fact that I wouldn't say Kyogre to Groudon is a strict upgrade. You know, it's a different Mon, and they're both super powerful. But I would say, see, this one's tough to me too. Um, I gotta look through them too.
I think I'm gonna go Zach getting Tangela over Flygon.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, adding a Rage Powder Mon to help out, especially when you look at the team as a whole and, running restricted in the format, having some type of redirection is so valuable. Not even if you're going to use it. Like, honestly, like I've had games where I don't even like to bring Clefairy because just the idea of seeing it in preview and understanding like, wow, I could lead beat up here and be screwed or like whatever it is to proc something.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only so few of them. So I'm going to go with that. Tangle is a great addition.
Yeah, I was gonna say because like if you look at my team, like Togetic I've brought every week, but has only come 7 games. So, you know, um to me that go to bed. To me, like, yeah, I haven't brought it a ton either. And I haven't actually clicked follow me that much when I bring it out either. Okay. There's a couple that I'm like debating right now. I'm gonna say Wade dropping Rapidash for Luxray. Um, Luxray Rapidash is honestly useless. Like we were talking about it when we were drafting, and he drafted it because he wanted a fire type. But honestly, it's super frail. I always call it like Cinderace light. Like it gets most of the same coverage. It's just worse. I mean, I get that it's tier 5, but it dies to everything. Its attack stat's not that high. Its speed stat is I think like 108 or 110 or something. So it's fast, but not crazy fast. And I think picking up Luxray like was super good because like in our match in his match against me when he played me, he brought Snarl on it. He brought AV with Snarl, so it's super good Dialga counter. He gets Psychic Fangs to break screens. It's a super good, like with Guts, Flame Orb does 1,000,000 damage. It can intimidate. I think it's like a super versatile tier 4, so I think that's probably my pick.
That's a good pick, so that's a good one.
Yeah. All right, so that's all the awards, but I did just, before we go, I just wanted to go back to the schedule page here. And I just thought, and again, maybe I'll talk about the East. Well, why don't we talk about our own conferences now?
Okay.
Just maybe let's just talk about some of the teams' path to playoffs, how you think certain teams are gonna do, how you think your predictions for the rest of the season in general, I guess.
All right. So I think in my conference, at least, it is a little bit harder to see because everyone is so close. We have only one guy who's 0 wins. We have a lot of 2-2s, a lot of 3-2s, and 3-3s, and whatever. So a lot of people in that mid range right now. So it definitely makes it a little tougher. As far as path to the playoffs, if number 1 and number 2 right now is me and Pete. If either of us win 3 games, we're guaranteed in. So 3 out of 5 puts us both at like a 7-3 record at worst. So I think that kind of secures it for us to be in that 7-3 range because I don't think everyone has the ability to win out because we all still have a lot of games against each other. But the middle of the pack, man, it's just muddy. I think that even Dirty Dittos, they have a shot to make that comeback, and you look at it, even the differential isn't great in anyone's favor. The lowest one from 3 to 8, -8 to +11. Okay, so it's a 19 differential. Then you look at what all's in between, a 2, a 4, a 4, a 6. Everyone's still tied. So I think it's just mainly people have got to start putting in a couple wins in a row here, at that midway point. This is about where I joined last season at week 3. And I won my first game. I lost my second game. No, I joined week 4. The guy before me was like 1-3. I won 1. 2-3, lost 1, 2-4. The midway point of the season, I had to win out. I basically won all my games but one more down the road, and was able to throw my final game for fun because I was able to get those. So I think that's the main goal in the East right now. You got to win 2 or 3 in a row to guarantee your spot. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think for the West, it's things are a little bit further apart from each other. Like there's 2 undefeateds and 2 who don't have any wins right now. So it's a little bit more polarized in that regard than the East. I mean, obviously, only one undefeated person can come out of the conference at the end of the season. So because me and Ben play each other in week 8, so someone's going to end up not undefeated. But the thing to me about this season is because there's 9 players in each conference and 6 make it. I think, like, obviously it makes people's odds pretty high. You look right now, and there's a 1-3 at 6th, which is barely making playoffs, and there's a 1-3 and a 1-3 at 7, who's barely not making playoffs, and the only difference is a 3-point differential difference. So in 1 week, they could switch places, So I think the lower end, like 5 through 8. Or even more like 5 through 7, but 5 through 8 too, could definitely shift around a little bit. I think 1 through 4 or 1 through 5, just I know all those players, so that's the thing to me is I know they're all good players and all that. So, and I'm honestly not 100% sure about some of the newer guys. So that's more so not me saying they're bad, but more so me just saying I don't know. But to me, I like you said. I mean, me and Ben right now only need to win basically 2 more to ensure. And even in this conference, even winning 1 more would probably mean we'd make playoffs. So but the other factor about this season, as opposed to last season, is now the top 2 get a bye through the first round of playoffs. So, like you said, like you got such a good differential that you were clinched for playoffs, so you didn't need to really try your last week. Whereas that might not be able to happen this time because it could mean the difference between 2nd and 3rd, which means you don't get a bye. But yeah, I mean, again, it's still relatively early in the season, and I think both the East and the West, things are so like clustered together, and I think as the season goes on, they'll kind of spread apart, and we'll get a better idea of the trends going on.
I mean, yeah, we're 2 weeks away from having a solid picture. Usually coming out of week 7, 3 games left. Who's ineligible, who's eligible, who's guaranteed. You get a better idea by week 7's end. So we're almost there.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I'm super excited to see how the rest of the season plays out, though. I think there's some matchups coming up. Like my personal matchups that I'm excited for, like I still have yet to play Ben or Christopher or my brother. I play my brother in week 9, so that's going to be interesting. We have to play on Showdown because we don't have 2 switches. But
I play Peter week 9.
Yeah.
And then I play Zach. I don't know when I play Zach. Week 7 was it? Yeah.
Yeah, week 7.
Yeah, so I get and then I have Christopher this week. So I mean, it's pretty much tough opponent who I know, new opponent, tough opponent, new opponent, tough opponent. So it's a nice little mini gauntlet here to kind of run through to secure these couple games. But I'm looking forward to my game against Peter. We have a little bit of a rivalry. We're 1-1, so.
Yeah. Yeah, my last 3 weeks have all been really tense for me because week 5 I played Ryan, who's a crazy good player. Week 4 I played Wade, who's a really good player, and week 3 I played Zach. So the last few weeks for me have been like really tense in terms of I really am making sure my teams are good and all that. But yeah, next week I'm against Howie, and then week 7 I'm against Christopher, I believe. Yeah, and that one's going to be interesting for me because last season I was 8-2 in the regular season. I lost via DQ to Casper because we had scheduling issues and I couldn't play, and I lost I think a 0-1 differential against Christopher. So hoping I can get my revenge here, but All right, man. You got anything else to say before we hop off here?
I think we covered it, but just a heads up to anyone, who's in the league watching this, it's still anyone's game, man.
Yeah, for
You can
sure.
come back from 0-4, win six, be 6-4, and get a playoff spot easy.
Yeah,
Everyone still plays each other to knock each other on their asses. So
yeah, 100%. And that's the thing too, is especially for like maybe people who are some of the newer players to the league who don't know everyone or something. Like, don't be intimidated playing against Kris because he's 4-0 right now. Don't. Well, be intimidated because he's Kris, but don't be intimidated by the record because I mean the record means nothing.
yeah,
In
the record's a lot
ultimately,
of luck. Let's be honest.
well, I mean, and that's the thing, right? Like, I mean, out of 5 weeks, you could be 5-0 and just have only had good matchups.
Yeah,
Like I've had a couple weeks where they literally nothing against Dialga. Like I've had a couple matchups where they basically just lost to Dialga. Like, and in those matchups, it's like I could play like literal trash and I'd still win only because of the matchup, not because of the player. So
I
there's
mean,
things like that too.
yeah, I had games where just people were they either over prepped for Spectier and then they lost when I came out with Galissapod and
Yeah.
Kuparaja and they're like, what the hell is he doing? Why are you leaving him not on the field? And
Yeah.
it is what it is, man. It's a lot of guesswork, a lot of fun. And advice for anyone, just have fun with it, man. Like honestly, I don't really look at opponents' teams during the regular season as much as a lot of people do. I literally build one team. I've ran the same exact team, same EV spreads, same move sets. I think I used a TM once, but for 4 games now. I made one new mod for Christopher. Why? Because I want to get used to this team. It's something I don't really play on ladder anymore. It's a little fun expedition. And that's all it is, guys. Have fun with it. If you're having fun, who cares what the record is at the end of the day? Because you're getting experience and you're learning and you're getting to see a lot of cool strategies that you're not seeing on VGC anymore. Like, I haven't ever seen a Gardevoir Diglett combo on ladder.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and yeah, again, nobody's out right now. Just because we didn't say your name as like a runner, like in the running because you're 0-4 right now, don't prove us wrong. Like I want somebody to go 0-4, win their last 6 matches and make playoffs. Like that is an awesome storyline, and that's what, like, to me, that's what part of what draft is about, is just having fun. Because if we were all trying to win all the time, we wouldn't be drafting crappy Pokemon. You know?
Yeah.
I
that's a
mean, I
fact.
mean, yeah. Uh, so yeah, no one's out yet. But yeah, man, thanks for coming, Kris. I love to have you on and hear your thoughts on all this. So I'll probably be doing a few more of these types of things before the season's over. I'll probably do at least something after week 10 is over, so we can kind of look at playoffs and I'm maybe it'll be Kris, maybe it'll be someone else, who knows. But well, yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Kris, you got any last words or?
No, man, just peace out and thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. Take care, everyone.